Hey there!
Hello.
How's it going? I'm Bill,
I'm Natasha.
and we're nursing our travel bug.
So it's been 2 years. We've been on the road together as a family. And today we just thought we would talk with you all about why we decided to do this travel lifestyle together.
Yep, and some of the things that we've enjoyed doing over the last 2 years. Kind of reflecting and explaining.
Exactly. We've said that we really have 3 reasons for why we chose this lifestyle. The first one was to travel and see new places. The second one was to see all of our friends and family who are spread out all over this big, beautiful country. And the third one was to get closer together as a family and share wonderful, memorable experiences together.
That's right. But to go back and kind of explain where this all started, for me, I just can't help but keep thinking about when we moved out to Portland, Oregon.
Yes, that was the spark that started it all.
Yeah, it's like we had a great adventure. We loved seeing new things.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. It was
Yes,
exciting.
yes,
But once we got out to Portland and we were there, we were only there 7 months. Maybe we didn't give it a fair shake, but I think in our hearts we knew it just wasn't our place to stay at that
yes,
time.
yes. And it was hard, because growing up in the Midwest, like we were kind of over the cold winter months, the hot, humid summers. We've seen probably everything that you could see in the Midwest because that was our vacation. That's what we could afford, was somewhere that you could drive to. That's where we vacationed. So our adventure to Portland was great. It was a whole new landscape. It's so beautiful out there. Everything is green and earthy, and you smell it, you feel it, you experience it. But Portland was really expensive for us. And although we did have some family out there and some friends out there, the idea of spending holidays without being beside, our siblings and our parents, and having the kids be with their grandparents and things like that, was hard to deal with, especially for me. I suffer from seasonal depression, and everybody warned us, you're going to hate Portland in the winter. It's gloomy, and I really struggled with that. So I think that's when we knew, Portland wasn't going to be for us.
We just pulled into Portland, and Natasha had a job set up already, working at the VA.
Mm-hmm. VA hospital.
And right before we moved out there, I was working at an insurance job in Omaha that I wasn't super fond of. And since that was kind of like once you're in there, you got a license, so it's kind of easy to find a job doing that. So I started doing that in Portland as well, and just taking a train every day. And I'm like, wow, this is tough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really enjoying that very much,
Yeah.
and it's life. I guess I was lucky. I worked a job for years and years that I enjoyed. So it's kind of hard to feel like you're settling, working a job that you don't care about, and I think that was part of it also. Just another reason why we felt trapped out there.
Mm-hmm. But it wasn't all gloom and doom. I mean, we did really enjoy ourselves out there. We moved out in May, so we got to enjoy the peak of summertime and the beautiful fall color changes and things like that out there. Some of my favorite things that we got to explore out in Oregon was Multnomah Falls. That was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did we get to enjoy it, but we got to enjoy it with Bill's Aunt Rose. We even hiked to the very top. I mean, it was pretty rigorous, a lot of switchbacks. And God bless Aunt Rose, she made it. Yeah, it was tough.
I almost quit.
Yeah.
We were probably 3/4 of the way up. My heart's racing, breathing heavy. Like, I'm just not in shape. I don't know if I can do this. But we did it. And yeah, that was seeing Aunt Rose, cousins Regina, Raymond, her good friend Teresa, and her family welcomed us in to birthday parties and their celebrations.
Yeah, they really welcomed us with open arms, like one of the family. Her dad, Jim, so sweet, came and helped us like unpack and move and stuff too. And of course, my really good friend, Tammy, and her husband, Justin Beckish, I've known them since we parked cars back in the day, you know, in valet. So I've known them since like 2001, 2002, so 17, 18 years. And they had been out in Oregon for probably 10 or 15 years before we moved out there. And she and I have always had just an easy friendship. When we get together, there's no weirdness, there's no awkwardness. You know, we just pick up where we left off. So spending time with her was fabulous. I mean, I really treasured, you know, the time that we had out there. We did all kinds of fun things. We got to can for the first time. That was an adventure.
Yeah.
And our neighbor was wonderful. Her name is Stephanie. She and her husband had some kids, and their son is Will's age. And I remember the first day we moved in, he was so excited. He said that he literally prayed to God for a family with a little boy to move in next door so he could have a play buddy. And they went to school together. I think they were in the same classes together. And Stephanie was a stay-at-home mom, so she was the perfect person to have watch our children when we were working.
Yeah.
Like it worked out perfectly for the time that we were there. Like everything lined up. We got to build our relationship with friends and family we hadn't seen in years. We got to have lovely experiences. I think we camped at Lost Lake for Bill's birthday. And it was just beautiful. You know, in addition to seeing the Goonies house in Astoria, introducing the kids to all of our 80s stuff.
Cannon Beach,
yes.
We went to Fort Stevens.
Yes.
That's some very cool stuff.
Yeah. It's a beautiful part of the country, and part of my heart is out there in Oregon. But all in all together, with the pros and the cons, you know, Bill working a job he really disliked. My job was night shift with no real foreseeable move to day shift in the near future. We were both just really unhappy. And the fact we felt trapped. You know, here we are, two college-educated individuals living paycheck to paycheck because it's so expensive out there. And really, our savings would be to fly back home. And then we wouldn't really go anywhere beyond that. It'd just be Portland and Omaha or Portland and Iowa.
So, trouble was, at the time, it wasn't much of a savings. I mean, we were still leasing 2 cars. Plus the rent was high.
Yes.
But eventually, we did decide to move back, and that kind of is what led us into Natasha's travel nursing career.
Exactly. I'd met a lot of nurses in probably the last year or two that were getting into travel nursing. I'd met some back in Omaha that were doing just that. And of course, I'd met some while we were in Oregon. So it really inspired me to look into it. We knew what it took to get from Nebraska to Oregon as far as the planning and getting jobs and the money. In our minds, we were looking at finding 2 jobs, finding a place to live, and getting the children registered for schools all at once while traversing half of the country. So it was really overwhelming. So, travel nursing then became a really good option because you could start working right away. I found a great company based in Omaha, of all places. They were able to get me my first contract in Lincoln. So I still had a commute, but I was used to the hour commute in Portland. So 45 minutes to Lincoln was no big deal.
Right.
So the travel nursing thing really panned out for us. That means we had a job from the get-go, and it was just one less thing on our plates to try and figure out.
Because when we got back in town, I think our original plan was, wow, this travel nursing thing is so great. I don't really have to work. Kind of like here, like right away. And then that's kind of where our story kind of really took off with the whole traveling as a family travel nursing thing.
Yes.
I think it was November. We moved back in January.
We did.
So you were working in Lincoln for
7 or 8 months.
And then you took a job in Kansas City.
My brother lived down there, so that naturally made sense to, have a place to stay while I was working. It was only 3 hours from Omaha and come back. We had to look at that as an option because they actually didn't have any jobs available in Omaha, which was really what we were hoping for. So we were branching out.
And then one evening, Natasha was heading back. Caught eye of an accident ahead. So she had slowed down.
And bam! I was jostled from behind. It was the day before Thanksgiving. I think it was the last shift of my contract. And I was heading from Kansas City back home to Omaha, and I was rear-ended in a car accident right outside of St. Joseph's. So about an hour into it. At the time, it was funny. I went into nurse mode, and I checked the family who had run into the back of me. Dad was okay. Mom had a nosebleed. The kids' necks had hurt. There was EMS, but they were dealing with the other accident. So I had all of the adrenaline pumping and everything, and EMS was like, do you want us to give you a ride over to the hospital? I'm like, oh no, it's fine. It's like 5 minutes away. I'll just follow you guys. But by the time I got to the emergency room, the adrenaline had worn off, and I began to feel the pain. And unfortunately, that pain lingered. Heck, it still lingers today, honestly. But we really thought our dreams of travel were dashed in that moment. However, I found some great doctors. Luckily, my injuries were only soft tissue injuries, so nothing that involved surgery. The MRI came out okay, but it was a long road. I had a lot of physical therapy. I did that for 3 months. And they had kind of got me to my prime where I couldn't go much more. So then I was also doing chiropractic care. And once the chiropractor felt like I was at my optimum performance after their treatments, I did go back to the physical therapist, and they did an evaluation to see how strong my back was, to make sure I could do bending, twisting, pulling, turning, things that I have to do as a nurse on the floor. And luckily, I passed. It was a really difficult 6 months, however.
So I wasn't working when you had the accident. So I had to get right back into, okay, well, I need to step up here. I need to get out there and get a job. So back to good old AAA I went. This time in the life insurance department. So I was working that job while she was recuperating. And sometime over that period as she was recuperating, I think we got the notion, like, well, I wonder if anybody does travel nursing, like with a family. I mean, that'd be cool. I wonder how that would work.
Yeah.
Would we get an apartment? Then somehow
Good old YouTube.
Yeah, I think similar story like other people. Less junk, more journey. Keep your daydream.
Mm-hmm.
North and South, all those big ones.
Yeah, the big families.
Started watching those and thinking, well, maybe it would work.
And I think because I knew that my injuries weren't going to be permanent, well, to some degree, but the fact that I was going to recover and I was going to be able to get back into nursing, we thought, why not? I was already doing the travel nursing, and I loved it. I loved the change. I love meeting new people. I love the different atmospheres. So that was a job I already loved. That was perfect.
Yep. I think we just kind of had to weed through the stuff. Some of our stuff we've talked about in other videos of, well, what are we gonna do for school? Like, what's Bill gonna do all day? And just, yeah. Then we started looking at RVs and
And dreaming.
are we gonna fit in an RV?
Yes.
Can we afford an RV that we fit in?
Yes.
And then some things just fell into place for us, and
As it always does. You know, we believe in a higher power, and no matter what our circumstances, you know, things always work out. There's always a path laid before us. And I truly feel like this was our path. The job worked out. We figured out the different things that we had to do to make this a reality. We went RV shopping, and we actually found an RV that this tall fella can actually fit in.
even though the first two places we went to, the first thing the salesman says is, "You're not gonna find anything you fit in." But we found it. We found that RV,
We did.
and then we started the whole planning process. And
Step number 1 was getting rid of our stuff.
oh yeah,
We were living in a 3-bedroom apartment in Omaha, and we kind of felt like the first step would be to live in as little amount of space as possible. So we had the children bunk up together. We actually had bunk beds previously. So they slept in the bunk beds. We had them whittle down their toys, whittled out their clothes. So the kids were pretty easy. I think for us it was kind of similar.
I had to whittle down my toys. All these boxes of, some of them, yeah, toys I've had since I was a kid.
Yes.
And I'm just like, oh, they're awesome. What are you talking, these 80s rubber 12-inch wrestler guys? Hulk Hogan, man. That is sweet. She's like, nah, I gotta
Yeah.
go. We whittled it down. I think we got one or two boxes. Her wedding dress. It's at my brother's place.
High school stuff like diplomas, I think my Letterman's jacket, and photo albums really, I think, is what the majority of that stuff is.
But luckily she wasn't working at the time. So
Yeah.
she was going crazy. Facebook Marketplace. We had a garage sale. We sold a lot.
We
And
did.
we also had a load for Goodwill. But
And Mom. My mom was moving
Oh,
at the
yeah.
time as well. Mom bought a bunch of our stuff too. But it just worked out again. So here we had all of this extra spare time, and I was able to go through our things and price them and have them ready to sell. And I think between the Facebook Marketplace, the apps, Craigslist, my mom, our garage sale, I believe we made somewhere around $3,600 off of our stuff. And then, yeah, the rest we just sent to Goodwill.
yeah.
Wasn't hard for me. I don't like stuff. So it was really cathartic to just let it all go.
I think for me it's hard. It was hard in the beginning. And then you start going through stuff and you're, especially clothes, I think some of that stuff that you're just, well, what if we need a suit someday? Or what if I want a sweater?
Or the Hawaiian shirt. Oh, I need that for Hawaiian shirt day.
Yeah. What if you have a Hawaiian shirt party?
He wore that shirt one time in the 8 years we had been together at that point. One time.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
Yeah. It's easy.
Yeah.
So we got rid of all of our stuff.
We picked out the rig,
Yep.
got rid of our stuff. Now, what we wanted to do was, because I was off work, so our income wasn't reflecting my income, and all we had was bills at the time. We tried to coordinate buying our truck and our RV at the same time so that the credit bureau wouldn't see both of the things on our credit report and deny us because of debt to income ratio.
That sounds pretty sneaky. Or is it clever?
I think it's clever.
Clever, sneaky, you decide.
It's clever.
So we got our truck, we got our rig, we took a trip down to Texas to get our plates and license.
Because we decided to domicile in the state of Texas. Texas had just a few homeschool laws that you have to abide by. And really, it was principles that you had to teach your children. History, math, English, and citizenship, I believe. I'm not 100%. But you didn't have to log your education hours, and you didn't have to take any standardized testing or any end of the year testing. So homeschool was a win in Texas. It doesn't have any state taxes, which is another win. It's relatively easy to get the vehicle registration process. Yeah, Texas was just a good fit for us venturing in this travel realm. And we found a company, Escapees, that forwards your mail wherever you need it, whenever you need it, however often you would like it. So Texas was a natural choice for us to move to as our domicile state.
Yep. And I think after we did all that, we came back to Omaha, loaded up the truck with all the stuff we bought off of Amazon to start our RV trip.
And all our belongings.
And all our belongings.
The picture with the tarp
Yeah.
is legit 100% of everything we owned at the time. That was it. Heck, when we moved to Oregon, we had a 26-foot truck and a car packed plumb full. And that is what we whittled our lives down to.
Yep. So then after we loaded all that up, we headed back up, picked up the RV, JX Campers.
Mitchell, South Dakota.
Mitchell, South Dakota. And then we did our first assignment up in Fargo, North Dakota.
That's right. We were all like on that I-29 corridor. It just seemed easiest for us. Like I said, it's almost like the path was laid out for us. Everything just worked out, and it made the transition into this lifestyle smooth.
Yeah, which is still funny to me that, travel nursing, the world of travel nursing, we can go anywhere. It's going to be amazing. Where should we go first? Fargo, North Dakota. Yes. But it was fun. It turned out all right.
It was. We stayed at a campground out in the country on a really nice farm. The owners were lovely people. They had horses. The children could run and play and do whatever they needed to do. And we were parked next to 2 other travel nurses. Mm-hmm. And they both full-time in their RV as well. So again, it worked out. It was great. It was nice to just kick back and kind of absorb into our new lifestyle and figure out the RV and figure out what we needed to do from that aspect, research some more homeschool stuff throughout the summer, and just slowly transition and slowly prepare for this lifestyle.
So now that you have our story of kind of how we started doing this, we want to talk about more of our whys and some of the cool things we've done the last 3 years.
Thanks for watching. Of course, if you like our content, don't forget to subscribe to our page. Give this video a big thumbs up. And for the latest and greatest of all of our video postings, don't forget to hit that notification bell.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye. Were the birds annoying?
Never. We're in nature. It's beautiful. It's magical. It's as nature intended. Weirdos. Been on filming for too long.
Bloopers. All right. Have a good one.
Thanks for
Thanks for.
Hang on.
Doe.
Doe.